I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out. I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful.
So no Prince or a different kind of Prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
The Variety report being like, of course, what would you do when you have this narcissistic nightmare trying to ruin a film?
If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what?
Smart.
Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're going to bring another person to play this role.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
This is Rachel Zegler, who Disney decided would be brilliant in casting because, as Rachel Zegler says, her millions of fans will line up no matter what she does to see her. Look at this acting.
That at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
I'd say that this is one of Disney's biggest regrets ever. I mean, I checked, we've discussed it before. I checked Rotten Tomatoes, and the score is even lower than the last time we talked. Other movie companies are going to look at her and they're going to say box office poison. And a lot of this is due to her behavior leading up to the film's release.
Uniquely unlikable, but then it is actually a terrible film as well. So it's the double whammy.
And then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive. The controversies surrounding Disney's Snow White remake show that we are still in the thick of the culture wars.
Rachel Zegler just got humiliated by Disney's $270 million Snow White flop, and now The Simpsons is rumored to roast her as Snow Woke. Buckle up, because this fairy tale turned into a total nightmare and Zegler's career might be toast. Here's the tea on why this disaster's blowing up the internet.
It has proven to be Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investments. I mean, they've gone through various scandals with this girl. She has this underlying anger and hatred in her that always has to take it like one step too far.
First up, the cash. Disney dropped $270 million on this live-action Snow White, plus $100 million for marketing. Opening weekend, a pathetic $43 million. Globally, just $87 million. Compare that to the 1937 classic worth $3 billion today, and this isn't a flop, it's a historic faceplant. By week 2, ticket sales tanked 66%, leaving Disney staring at a $115 million loss. Even Dumbo's 2019 bomb did better. Ouch.
And Rachel Zegler, being 23 or whatever she is, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
So, who's to blame? Enter Rachel Zegler, the so-called girl boss Snow White. She was supposed to be Disney's next big thing after West Side Story. Instead, she lit a firestorm. At a 2022 expo, she trashed the original, calling the prince a stalker and the story weird. Fans lost it, flooding X with Zegler hates Snow White memes. Her woke takes didn't just spark backlash, they tanked the movie's hype. Was she bold?
And then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
It gets juicier. Behind the scenes, Zegler clashed hard with Gal Gadot, the evil queen. Insiders spill that they fought over everything. Dialogue, direction, you name it. One fortress scene took 25 takes because these two couldn't stop bickering. Crew watched in silence as Zegler and Gadot turned the set into a war zone. Disney spent millions on reshoots to fix it, then cut the whole scene. Zegler called it her best work. Talk about a waste.
This golden employment opportunity for dwarves.
There's not that many scripts that come down the pike.
No, it's 7 of them.
That has, and there's 7 dwarf jobs here.
Then there's the dwarf debacle. Disney swapped the 7 dwarfs for CGI magical creatures after Peter Dinklage called the original backward. Big mistake. Fans hated the creepy VFX goblins, and actors like Jason Acuna slammed Disney for cutting real performers. It was supposed to be progressive, but became a PR disaster. Everyone's shaking their heads.
I think it was Peter Dinklage said, this is, this is not right. This is demeaning. And they were like, what? We just want to work. We're dwarves.
Now the wildest part, X is buzzing that The Simpsons just roasted Zegler in a new episode called Snow Woke the Reimagining. Picture this, Rachel Z bans princes, lectures villagers, and watches her movie bomb in an empty theater before melting down on Krusty's show. Sources say Zegler's furious, but here's the catch. Reddit says this parody might be fake, no 2025 episode matches. Still, true or not, it's viral gold and Zegler's getting dragged.
For Snow White, it's coming to terms with finding herself and finding her inner voice and finding a sense of agency so that she can be a just ruler and a wonderful queen, because there's another one in town.
Disney's in panic mode. They canceled the UK premiere, scaled back LA's, and limited press. Rumors say Snow White might skip Disney Plus to bury this mess. Even Jonah Platt, son of producer Mark Platt, blasted Zegler online, saying her politics like pro-Palestine posts tanked the film. Fans piled on, giving it a 1.9/10 on IMDb, 91% one-star votes.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Zegler's gone silent, vanishing from social media and interviews. Her breakup with Josh Andres Rivera just fueled more headlines. From Disney's next star to a Hollywood risk, her fairy tale's crumbling. When The Simpsons, real or not, turns you into a joke, you're not just a celebrity, you're a spectacle.
Literally no offense to anything. They're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the are you doing, man?
So what's next? Will Disney bury this flop, or can Zegler pull a comeback? One thing's clear, this $115 million disaster's no fairy tale ending. Who's to blame? Zegler, Disney, or the fans? Drop your take in the comments and subscribe for more celebrity tea. Did Zegler ruin Snow White, or is the internet too harsh? Let's hear it.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarves. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures.